confluence is when your tools, your technical analysis line up. And when I said I like to do all the technical analysis first and then put the indicators on, because if my TA says this is what I think is going to happen and I flash on the indicators and it all lines up, fuck yeah, I'm in. And the more of those tools we have line up together to give you the same info, that's confluence.
What up, everybody? Welcome to your daily fix with NFAOFC. Let's fix together, shall we? It's safer. Not financial advice, so fucking course. Tuesday, March 19th, good evening, or Wednesday, March 20th, good morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure. I think it's morning for Primo, sipping his coffee, watching us in the background. Today, we are going to have a quick money flow cycle. So I want everyone to work at practicing your TA, having confidence in it, watching those indicators, practice with a certain percentage of your money, but we are looking at long-term trades, people. Money flow cycle, market cap, dominance, Bitcoin, ETH, the four we always look at, so we know how the money is moving through the market so we can make better, more informed decisions as I keep cramming down your throats. So, also, Pope, we're going to have a midnight show tomorrow. You want to join me for a little late night extravaganza?
Let's do it.
Okay. Why not?
It's good to switch them up. It's good to be looking, and it's good to have the understanding. Hopefully, some of you got to see the show if you missed it for the late one last night. And we thought we'd come in tonight. Sounds like we're going to do a late one tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, there's a lot of people saying they're not having fun at the moment in the markets. What is going on?
It's been a challenging, you've taught us all to be prepared for this, and it has been challenging for people.
We'll talk a little bit about that for sure. The last couple of days, we're averaging between, that 5. There's been some, depending what you're in, there's been some pain. I've been averaging probably about 5.5% now a day since I last looked. Stop lost out on a couple, and at that level where I'm always like, you're about to be, and you're in that position of what's going on? What are you doing? And I reckon there's a lot of people in the same position and a few things to talk about and to look at. And before we jump into the numbers, if you are stressed at the moment with the market, you have to ask yourself a few questions. Have you taken profit? Are you overextended? Do you not have any money set aside right now for these dips? We don't know if this is the bottom yet of this dip. We haven't quite figured that out. So if you are in profits and have money on the sidelines, now you're waiting excited. And you know me, I love red days. There's lots of opportunity in red days. But we got to figure out where this bottom is, and nobody likes getting hit into their stop losses. And speaking of stop losses, how is the management? That's where my stress is coming from. I talked about this a few days ago.
Management, you mean the management in your allocation for funds? Is that what you mean?
For your stop losses? No, your percentages, my stop losses should have been a little bit higher because then I could have had some nicer re-entries and not avoided this. So your stop loss management is, are you having them too high and you're getting the wick outs, which sucks. And almost everybody starts there in the beginning. And then now the other end of that spectrum is where I am in personally, where you're not hitting them, but it's right around where it consolidates at the bottom. And you're like, okay, I just wasted that percentage or time of trading to get to where we leveled out to go. And as we talked about late last night, where I think we are on the big picture zoomed out compared to past runs, and I'll have another quick look at that when we dig into these numbers, it is something to also always think about. It's right when you finally cash out and go, I'm just going to collect my money, hold, breathe, and then the market rips again and you're buying back in higher. And you're like, the fuck? I hate this game. Right. And
Part of the
that's
hardest is that kind of waiting game in between, you know? That's what I was saying earlier, just like you gotta trust your confluence, trust your TA and what you've been doing. But
and that's
but it's always a question mark.
and that's why we started with, you got to trust your confluence. You got to trust what you've done and not panic. And if you are panicked, is it because you didn't make profit? Are you overextended, playing with money you should be able to lose? Do you have no money set aside for dips? Your stop loss management? Are you stuck in echo chambers where everybody's telling you the bull run's over and you're not looking at data?
Are you
It's
just getting
easy.
antsy? Are you just getting antsy and you want to do something? You know?
It's easy to get in all of those situations, and that's always why we say it's important to zoom out, it's important to breathe, and why our next round of trades that I'm working on right now are good trades. Take good setups. All the trades we've already done on the show have played out how we've wanted them. We've just kind of had a reset. So now we have to analyze this reset. We don't even, like I just said, know if we're at the start of that reset or the bottom. Right. So now we want to analyze, where are these good trades again? Part of our strategy is research, patience, technical analysis, using our tools, trusting the indicators, their statistical probabilities. And that's what we kind of brushed on yesterday. So a little longer of an intro than we normally do to get into it, but I also want to make it clear that I still believe where we're at is a good thing if you've set yourself up properly. Let's have a quick look.
Always ask us how, if you need, verification on how to set yourself up properly or where you're at. Of course, this is not financial advice.
Of course. So what we did, we moved this down. We were hoping over here.
Are we looking at a chart? Because we see nothing but you and I. Oh, there we go.
You want to? I seem to like that one better. There we are. All right, my bad. Thank you. Back to the charts. So when we look at how much has been going on, and this one's, I don't know what. Oh, I do, because when we did the weekly, that's what we'll do. Let's zoom out like we did quickly last night if you missed last night's episode. And what we talked about was this pattern in this box is in this box. It just kind of grew. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to grow this box into this box is our goal. This is what I've seen, at least, not financial advice, of course. So if we make this a little clearer to see, this was our last major bull run this was the first one. This was our last one. And this is where we've now entered. And we can see when we zoom in, let's clean this up. Even though I know these are on dailies. There's enough stuff going on. It won't take me long to redo this.
I love a fresh chart.
I am still going to leave these big rectangles. Fix that one. I won't do them as quick and dirty as we did last night. It was midnight. It was late. So we can kind of see this pattern, which looks very similar to the psychology of the market. And we talked about how we laid it over in a tweet. Remind me later tonight. We'll go over that. And we'll see how this is actually layering out for the total. Now, we did that on Bitcoin, and this is obviously market cap. But it's the amount of money in that determines how Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin is everything, and Bitcoin is only everything with money being in it. And now we know we have the ETFs. We have all this stuff, right? So we can actually, let's fix this. Consolidation, compression. We can even bring it in. Where'd we start? We started on a down. Here's our down. There's another one right there. Then when we go look at over here, same thing, consolidation, up, down, big up, massive up, and then into the bear. And it kind of replicates, but just got a whole lot bigger during these years. And what I said is this phase here of this last bull run was in here for this bull run. This phase in here, probably right here. We've had our consolidation and got it. We've had just our first major pullback right here, back here. Look how much more up and downs we've had to go. This was our all-time high ever. We talked about how fast I used to say, oh, geez, I remember like it would take forever. We were championing to get to these levels. Look how fast we did it. A pullback, normal, normal. Already having a wick. So let's just look at these two now, our last bull run to this bull run. Definitely looks like in this level, resistance, resistance. I mean, we can pull all the way down to here, but we had some pretty massive support resistance in these levels.
Can you pull down? I don't know if this is possible because when I look at this, I would put that box, I would bring it down to,
Yeah. Mhm.
I would bring it down to kind of the resistance a little further to the left. You see how you
Like
where it's
to
at,
here?
right? Yeah, like I would the top line, I would bring that I would make that box thinner essentially and bring that top line down a little further to those point of resistance and
This
at
line, man,
yeah, that line up there and
you
bring it
want
down.
this one down to here?
Yeah, down to there because it almost looks like a retest to me then when I look I may be saying something wrong or I'm just not wouldn't be placing it right, but it almost look like a retest on the other side then.
All right, no, there. So that here, this close brought it right on it, right? So here we don't have support or resistance at this level. This was newly made.
Got it,
So
got it,
this
got
is
it.
our new candle, right? So you're absolutely right with what you're saying. And yeah, you can put a box anywhere at the end of the day. We've talked about that eons
Mhm.
and eons,
Yeah, but
right?
I didn't consider
I
that
would
new,
put that there, and then I would put that there. And then so we know we have these steps now. And right now at our current, look at that right there.
mhm.
There it is, right? Bingo. So, and I always kind of find when we find these rectangles, it's like thirds or quarters that they operate at. And when we look at how these have changed and where it looks like we could be going to, which would be reasonable, and we could fib it and do all this, but we're not getting into that. That's not the point. We need to hold this level for sure. Absolutely. And that's why it is there, in my opinion. On the daily, we're bouncing in these lines on the weekly. And the only thing I would add here on the daily is our daily high. Uh,
Cheeky.
oh, And it is a little higher. The degens, really? Does the wick go all the way to it?
I don't know. It's so small. I'm getting old, man. It's so small. I can't see exactly what you're doing.
I just wonder if it was the 6-9. I was just being cheeky.
Ah.
But we could also be coming down to this level. And I really wanted to hold in here. Really did. And we're already starting to come back. And if we look at the TA, we are coming down. We have parallel channel. This is our retest. This candle right now. And as you and I were saying earlier, you know, the next 2 4-hour candles are significant.
Are we getting a new candle by the time we're finished this? The new 4 hour?
21 minutes 43, probably. Yeah, we'll have a look.
Sweet.
And I think we will. And that's why I've been saying patience for the last little while. But that's not the final answer either. What am I on daily? Oh, sorry. Just adjusted my screen. The things you guys don't get to see. So we missed the heavy weekly 2-5. And I've talked about the 2-5 for I don't know how long and how important it is. So we know on our way down, we're going to contest it again. We were so close to an all-time high. This was a ton of money. A ton of money. Well, let's go from this low to the wick. $1.2 trillion. That's more than half of the entire market cap right now. Came in 48 days. And we have ETFs, about new ETFs to happen. So yeah, in the last 5 days, we've seen $464 billion leave. Our TA is telling us it's time to cool down, hover this line, and start to hunt back. The market, with the bullish sentiment of everything, is telling us it's time to hunt back. Not saying it's going to. We know it could come all the way down to here and step at these levels. Confluence. Confluence is what was started with. Overheated. Overheated. Cooled down, went back up. Overheated this whole time. Well, yeah. Right now, half the total amount of money came, a third of it just left. Ish. Right? So when we look at the bigger picture, is it doom and gloom? We talk about healthy retracements, consolidation. Well, all the way down to here is not a healthy retracement, in my opinion, either. We do need to cool off, and it would make sense that we might get down to these levels. We did at the all-time new high of Bitcoin. We crushed it all the way down to this. We just drew that box. Look where it went to. Just off on quick and dirty. We have spread on our indicators. Our micro bear is saying on the 4-hour, but if we see money start to pull in, this turns quickly. And we know as fast as it can leave, it can come back. This is crypto. We were starting a while ago, and if you don't think 20, 30, 40% pullbacks are a normal thing, get ready for crypto. And that's why one of our strategies is take fucking profits. because these come. And now we got to wait for one of these to go the other direction to turn around, right? And we can have this retracement, joke about, oh, remember March, and then start to take off. Is that going to happen here? Is that going to happen here? Is that going to happen here? And we know what you're about to see. And if you've tuned in, I talk about the price action going like this on these lines. We did that with Bitcoin yesterday. Haven't looked at it since. We'll see how I end up. It's going to be one of these three. It may possibly go down here. I'd be shocked. I really would. There's too much good pressure, buying pressure from the ETS with Bitcoin. But
definitely would be a good place to buy in and something interesting to talk about. That's for sure.
But when we start looking for confluence on, did I just drop that? I think I did. On our indicators and market and what's happening, it makes sense that this wants to curl and come along this line. I don't think we're doom and gloom along here. And if we do, it's going to be quick. Like I said last night, it'll be wicks. And we should hopefully consolidate in here. So that one, I don't want to see. Get on out of here. What I want to see is this one. In this area, recontest these points and have these healthy retracements. There was a lot of greed. Look at the meme coins.
You've been talking about meme coins for a little while now. They're like plaguing you.
Sol outperformed all the big heavies. Why? Because that's where the attention was meme coins. Did I play a few? Yeah, a couple, very tiny amount. Did I play Sol? Yes. We called it in the Discord. Hopefully you took profits because probably back down to the entries now because of this. And these are these W's, these ups and downs, these waves that when you understand market entry, market exit that we always talk about, beautiful. So this is where I'm hoping we're going. This isn't obviously the time frame. Maybe it is. We're on the 4s. I'm hoping it's a lot faster. When we talk confluence, we're in a buy situation here. Every time we're in these areas down here, price goes up. Volume goes up in this case, not price. People are scared. Sky's falling. What's the news saying? Sell-off intensifies. Beauty. That there's Chicken Little. Fear confirmation. But these next few candles to check for this belly on the 4-hourly is what's important. We need this cross to happen soon. We need our micro bull to come back. It's a micro bear, micro bull because ups and downs are healthy. It's not always a micro bull. It's not always a macro bull. If this is your first, this is why last night we started with learn to take profits on one of our shorts on that. And even when you're playing with strategy and you have your stop losses in place, now you're like, damn it, like I am right in this area technically, not because it's market gap, but you get the point where I should have been out up here and then I could have got it and saved those little percentages because we all talk about stacking the percentages. But is that a mistake or is it a learning lesson? And you put those in your trading journals. Even when you make profits, there's ways you can learn from it. We talk about that in our trading journals, stuff like that. So focusing a lot more heavier on the market cap and dominance, because that's the most important thing in the market in the downs and the ups. So this markup here is what we did live when it started to crash and go down. And all we've been doing is extending our consolidation areas to longer and to where it is. This does not look nice on this perspective. We want to see this curl, and we can see that now this 2.293 on the 4-hour is going to be resistance. But now on the 4-hour, we have switched. We are down here. And that's a healthy sign. We typically do not stay in these areas for long. But also, as we discussed last night, there's a ton of news. What was it all? Tomorrow, Brits have the CPI. US has the Federal Open Market Committee, which is your monetary policy for interest rates for your banks, borrowing from the Feds. Thursday, we have France, Germany, and Great Britain with your manufacturing PMI numbers, which is all of your purchasing managers index. Basically, if you're shopping or not, if the markets are expanding, staying the same, or decreasing. So you put that with all the cost of goods and things. If things are going down in sales, the price to maintain them is going up, that's not a good sign for the economy. So people pulling out money right now is also caution to some of these big events happening. Great. The Brits, again, monetary policy in the bank rate on Thursday. The United States on Thursday has their unemployment numbers and their PMI numbers. And then Friday is the retail sales numbers for the Brits and Euro Summit, which is your monetary union that oversees financial policy for all the major European countries. So there's a lot of financial news and what's going on this week. And market, everybody tightens up a bit. So if you're out and you're sitting in profits, now is your hunt. And that's what we're focusing on starting yesterday and tonight, to get those all to you in the Discord to go, hey, these are now the good trades. These are the research. This is going back to our show where we would be at in these. Now, if you're stop lost out of something, getting back into that ecosystem doesn't mean it's the best trade out there. Right. We want to look for the best trades. Where are the best opportunities for return? And sometimes that's not always the same ecosystem. So in times like this, we have to look at the readjustment. We have to look what's happening and what's going on with the market. Bitcoin, what a squiggle of this did we do?
Does that make more sense on another time frame, maybe?
I was say this.
Yeah.
This probably makes more sense on the 4. There it is. Right. We were looking for this curve of the micro bear. So this here, let's take that squiggle away, is consolidation. That's a consolidation squiggle. What we wanted to see is a curl of this band. And then the consolidation along the band with possible wicks down into these areas. That's what that is. So we'll get rid of the consolidation, clean this up a bit.
That was a great interpretation of that squiggle with your wicks and everything.
Hey, if you know my squiggles, you know my squiggles. You know what I'm saying? Right now, this is plain reasonable. It's going to fight to get above this. Right? That, what is that? Right around where it is 319. Again, these numbers, we can basically say, hey, look, we know in this downwards trend of this channel, it's going to these areas. That's what these squiggles are for. Right? We're damn near close on 2 of them. It makes sense it's going to go up and down in this area. And that's why we have these lines of areas of consolidation, major support and resistance, to help us determine the belly of the micro bear, because that's what we're in. It's It's a micro bear. It's not a bear. This guy's not falling. Promise. Hold on, sorry. I mean, I can't promise. Not financial advice, of course, right? But that's what we want to see. And we expect a few dips along the way. But we're still in this massive channel from back here. Nothing's changed. Just a cool off period. And now we're hoping we can turn that micro. And if we can't, guess where we're going? These next areas. If the all-time high ever retracement was, I think it was this candle. I'd have to double check. But if that was it, and we're still holding that area, that's a higher low than here. That's giving me indication of strength. Because this is a no-brainer. And institutions' buys have got to be out there. Confluence is telling us the market is chilled. Entry was a little while ago. Remember, these aren't always right. With Bollinger, we got a red out, green in. Had a couple of them. You know, here's our falling knife syndrome. You know, now we're looking for these bellies for re-entry on our favorite tokens. Red days.
22 Targaryen has a question for you.
Fire it away.
Okie dokie. Do you use fibs in these moments to see where the retracements can be till or until?
I use when I'm actively in trades. Yes, on here I don't. Just how many more do you put in? But absolutely, I've been thinking about doing a video on fibs. I'm a big believer in Fibonacci. I'm also where market sentiment also lies. Yes is the answer to that. To do it right now, I'm not. No.
But once people have more of an understanding, it's a little more complicated, right? So, but once people have that, they definitely can add it for their confluence once you've taught it properly.
And it's
right?
where you can put them in different areas from top to bottom to see where the 618 levels are. And absolutely, you know, it's another rabbit hole to add to confluence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I stay out of it because we try to keep this to under an hour. And you give me more tools to play with and lines. And
oh my God. If you started on fibs, we'd never end the show. You love it. And Quan says loves fibs as well.
They're a good thing. They're a good thing. Look where it held on a weekly support on the daily level. And that's why we have these weekly levels. You can see it fought here on the weekly. And we called pretty much from day one of our show in the Discord, I launched our exit, which was not far off the top, which was quite nice. And now we do have on the daily our bearish cross, which this is going to be really interesting for Ethereum. Ethereum really needs to bounce in this area to mellow out that, to take the limelight away from all the other things with all the other chains. Now, a lot of this could have been news with the ETF as well. This was clearly on a different time frame. Yeah. So on those squiggles, we were saying we need to stay in here, which is still true, and consolidate in here. And this is on the weekly. And that we're going to get up to the all-time high and possibly come back down. We have no sign on the weekly that we're pulling back. We have 4 days left. The whole market has had that cool off and looks like it might want to correct. A lot of news this week. And this is where this is that time where you go, damn it. I wish I listened to the indicator, waited here. Now we're on the hunt with more profits. So on the 4 hourly with Ethereum, it's saying pain, but holding this area.
All those little areas of consolidation over on that side where you're looking are just all so close together, you know?
Yeah.
Seems like a slippery slope.
I want to say Ethereum's got more pain ahead. This is just too spread and too straight down. The difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum here on the indicators, and if we talk about trust in the indicators, is quite substantial. And on the weekly, it still looks like it's cooling off. On the daily, we have the cross. So we know lots of recovery down is going to bring it up. But as soon as we have a cross, we know we're probably having a little more down. We may see some wicks into these territories. This is where you might get some good stink bids, as Supreme calls them. You might get some great bids in the low 2988s, kind of a thing on this retracement here. But it wants to keep this low. And it's going to fight up, hopefully. You'll get your 3 ups and then a little pullback, maybe another little pullback, then a little bit of up. It's going to fight here. This all makes sense to me. And that's why we got out of Ethereum a while ago. It's a Bitcoin cycle right now. Bad news bears with ETF or anything like that is just going to drive Ethereum down more. Everybody complaining that you got to look at the average user. The average user doesn't understand any of the tech behind it. Doesn't even understand that Ethereum's decentralized opposed to non-decentralized probably. So all they understand is if they want to do an activity on the Ethereum blockchain, it's going to cost a lot of money. And nobody wants high user fees to do something. Who's signing up for higher fees? So that's where Solana, I've been saying, is eating them alive at the moment because you can trade these meme coins for fractions. Whereas if you're swinging out of memes or NFTs on Ethereum, you're going to understand what gas cost is. This is nothing compared to the previous runs. So it didn't get me started on gas wars. So what we're looking at here is a clench, I think, for lack of better terms. This is where we really need to see a cool off in the downward pressure. And if we get that, we're right back off to the races and probably rather quickly again, and everybody will be blissed and this will all be forgot about. But we also have the halving upcoming and events. So if you are still in trades, it is best to be watching on these smaller time frames. If you're swinging in and out. If you're holding this for the end of the bull run, why are you here right now? Go. Say it every time. But if you're here to swing trade on lower time frames or over weeks, like we've been giving these examples over the last few, and we'll have all of our new stuff coming, you'll see that we can find these 40, 50, 20, 12s, 300% on smart trades, understanding how this works. And what this just has done in the last little while is reset everything. The market's cooled. If you felt like you've missed out, you've had FOMO, you're getting entries that were here a month ago. Now we're just going to take off again because the money's going to flow into Bitcoin. It's going to cool in Bitcoin for a bit, and then it's going to flow out of the alts. Remember, I said we are not in an alt cycle. We're in a Bitcoin cycle, and Bitcoin still needs to figure out where Bitcoin is. And we haven't even had a weekly candle yet to do that. So take in all of that kind of information, what you will. That's kind of how I'm looking at the market right now, is my 2 cents on all of it. I hope it's not too much jibber jabber. Said I was going to keep it short.
It's not. I'm really
20
glad that we went further in the last, like we did it last night as well, and into today, just further into the market cap and why, and the money flow cycle, and why it's so important, especially in these times. And just do your best to anticipate what's going on with all the tools that you've given us. So I dig it. I really dig it.
Trust them. They work. They're cool. They make me happy. Pay good money for some of them. Some of them are just the numbers I kind of figured out. Some of them's how they all layer together. And Bollinger, love that man. But with all that aside, understanding your strategy and sticking to your strategy, just because you've taken a retracement doesn't mean you're a sheep. Doesn't mean you're not making unsmart financial decisions. Looking at where you're at, assessing your situation, checking your TA to what's happening, be vigilant. Those are the right decisions you make, and keep notes of them, because we're going to have a bunch more of these. Whether or not we're quite bottom, I don't know. But I do know the next few candles are really important. For the long term, who cares? Just keep going. Why here? But that's it for me. Congratulations, I'd like to say, Crypto Katie. No chicken little decisions either. So
9 days for you too. Good job, my little primate. Well done.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a few times, but I had faith in the plan. I had faith in my numbers set, so I could step away from the trades, and get a lot of IRL stuff done, which I have.
Yeah.
But when you do get close to your stop losses and you're like, "Whoa, what happened?" I didn't look at the markets outside of the show. So sometimes it's like, and then you're like, "Nah, it's cool. This is what's going on. All right, no need to panic yet." Indicators have been a game changer. Quan, thanks, brother.
Dude, for sure.
I hope strategy. I hope the community. The Crypto Katie, myself, and like I said last night, the alpha groups I'm in, I hate that word, but the groups I'm in between the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Neo Tokyo, and being in the space for 4 years, I've been digging in all of that, all of the coins from them, cross-compiling them, TAing them to go. Now that we're in almost like a market reset, what should we be looking at? AI just had its run. Does that run continue? Does it go to gaming? Just go to DeFi. I don't know.
These are all good questions, my friend. 9 days for both of us. Let's try to get to 10 tomorrow. I almost made some sheep/chicken decisions, but held strong and confident. So I think I'm killing it. But I'll be back to zero, because that's just how life goes.
You won't be back to zero.
I will be, but that's okay. Because if I kept going up, it would be an unreasonable kind of trading. If I just kept going up.
I got you.
I'm gonna have my own natural retracements.
Yes. That's a great way to put it. There you are. See?
But tomorrow, that was a great show. You killed it. Tomorrow, midnight, where you and I shine the best at that time of day. We really just want to get down to it and eat snacks. I have a pastry problem. But
truth.
Let's work our asses off tomorrow. We'll come and talk to people tomorrow at midnight, see what people say on the Discord and what everyone's thinking.
And if you're in the Discord, share us your trades. I'll see if I have time to add those into all the research tonight and tomorrow. Stay tuned tomorrow because we'll hopefully have some entries from the hunt. Oh, my God. Really? He's done it. That's it for me. I got nothing more. You
don't want to say go Canucks? I'm friggin' Canadian. Go Canucks. Until they. Bye, everybody. Go Nucks.